Did you know that tens of thousands of New Yorkers might soon find themselves homeless? As rising sea levels march towards the very heart of New York City, a monumental $120 billion wall emerges as a potential savior. This giant 5.2-mile barrier is expected to save New York for the next 100 years. But how does this wall work? Why does it cost so much? And can it truly save New York from its doom? Join us and let's find out. Introduction. New York City's ambitious and unprecedented $120 billion plan to protect itself from the relentless rise of the sea have been making headlines worldwide. This gargantuan undertaking has captured the attention of not just the nation but the entire globe. Yet, despite the colossal investment and the monumental scale of this project, a lingering question continues to loom large. Will this ambitious move truly save the city? Or will it fail in the face of nature's fury, ultimately dooming New York for good? Let's get into it. The growing threat. New York City, the city that never sleeps, is under an increasing threat. The backdrop to this looming danger is a combination of historical decisions and environmental factors. A century ago, New York City was surrounded by tidal wetlands, natural barriers that provided some protection against flooding. These wetlands not only acted as a buffer against rising waters but also served as vital ecosystems teeming with diverse wildlife. However, as the city's population grew and urbanization swept across the landscape, these once lush wetlands were filled in to accommodate development, transforming them into concrete jungles. While this expansion facilitated unprecedented growth, it also came at a significant cost, rendering the city more vulnerable to the relentless march of rising sea levels fueled by climate change. Today, the consequences of these historical choices loom large, as New York City grapples with the urgent need to fortify itself against the impending threat of flooding and storm surges. Before we continue, don't forget to like and subscribe. The 120 billion wall. To combat this imminent threat, New York City is coming up with a groundbreaking plan, a $120 billion storm barrier system that could potentially save it for a very long time. But what does this massive project entail? The storm barrier system is a complex network of barriers, gates, levees, and flood walls designed to shield the city from the devastating effects of storm surges. Additionally, the plan includes renewing marshlands and other natural defenses to bolster protection. These state-of-the-art barriers are engineered to respond swiftly to impending threats, with computerized sensors detecting changes in sea levels and weather conditions. When a storm surge approaches, massive gates swing into action, closing off vulnerable entry points and creating a formidable defense against the encroaching waters. This multifaceted strategy aims to fortify New York City against the growing risk of coastal flooding, providing its residents with a sense of security in the face of a changing climate. Will it work? The big question on everyone's mind is whether this monumental $120 billion investment will genuinely safeguard New York City from the rising sea levels. Let's delve deeper into the considerations. Undoubtedly, the storm barrier system is a significant step in the right direction for protecting the city. Similar systems have proven effective in other parts of the world. However, there are valid concerns about its potential ecological impact and the sheer scale of this project. The ecological impact is a critical aspect to consider. The construction of such massive barriers and flood protection systems can disrupt local ecosystems and wildlife habitats. It's essential that the city carefully assesses and mitigates these environmental concerns. The storm barrier's effectiveness relies not only on its structural integrity, but also on its ecological implications. While we've witnessed success stories in places like the Netherlands and the United Kingdom, these systems were carefully integrated into their respective environments. New York City's unique ecosystem must be taken into account to avoid unintended consequences. Moreover, the sheer scale of the storm barrier project raises eyebrows. Can such a colossal endeavor be executed flawlessly, without significant delays or cost overruns? It's a valid concern, given the city's reputation for ambitious but often challenging construction projects. Balancing the urgency of protecting the city with meticulous planning is a daunting task, one that city officials must navigate to ensure the project's success and minimize unforeseen ecological consequences. False sense of security. Another vital aspect to consider is the risk of a false sense of security. Could the existence of these barriers inadvertently encourage more development in vulnerable areas? Critics argue that relying solely on these barriers might lead to complacency and greater construction in flood-prone zones. In turn, this could result in even more catastrophic damage if a storm breaches the defenses. Striking a balance between protection and requires urban planning is a complex challenge. The city must work out effective strategies to manage growth while safeguarding against future calamities. This dilemma is not unique to New York. It's a global challenge faced by coastal cities worldwide, requiring innovative solutions that harmonize progress with protection, resilience with responsibility. The enormous cost. Let's address the elephant in the room, the massive cost. Who's going to foot the staggering $120 billion bill for this project? While federal tax dollars are expected to play a significant role in financing the project, there are valid concerns about the fairness of spreading these costs to taxpayers nationwide. This could trigger political opposition and budgetary constraints. It's essential to recognize that funding such a colossal undertaking goes beyond just distributing the financial burden. It also involves prioritizing and justifying the allocation of resources on a national scale. As the debate over funding continues, it becomes apparent that striking the right balance between safeguarding a major city and managing the financial implications is a complex task that requires careful consideration and planning. New York City's plight highlights the broader issue of financing large-scale infrastructure projects and raises questions about the responsibility of local and federal governments in addressing the impacts of climate change on vulnerable communities. So, where does that leave us? New York City faces a great threat from rising sea levels, and the $120 billion storm barrier system appears to be a step in the right direction. However, it's crucial to understand the challenges and controversies surrounding this cash drain. And while the storm barrier system offers hope for enhanced protection, it should be viewed as part of a broader strategy that encompasses environmental responsibility, urban planning, and financial sustainability. Striking the right balance between protection and preservation, avoiding a false sense of security, and securing funding are all vital factors that will determine whether this colossal undertaking can genuinely save the city from sea. As the world watches, New York City stands at the forefront of the battle against nature's fury, and its success or failure will undoubtedly shape the way we handle these situations in the future. New Yorkers might soon find themselves homeless, but do you know who's already living this reality? Click here to find out.